Yesterday, I had this lady that had scheduled a call with me. So a lot of the times, you know, throughout my week, I'll talk to real estate agents specifically about helping them grow their business. Usually they'll watch a webinar where I've demonstrated that I've helped other people, whether that's through funnels or YouTube or whatever. And so at the end of the webinar, I'll give them the opportunity to jump on the call with me if they need help. So this lady jumps on the call. I had one of these calls yesterday, and my family's in town and my kids are on summer break, and you know, we've obviously had a new baby, and so, you know, I don't do a ton of these. When the kids are in school, sometimes I'll do 40 of these in a week, you know, 40 plus. But it's been really a light week. So I jump on this call. It's a little bit later in the day. And when I get on the call, I feel like the lady is not happy, but I don't feel like she's mad. And when somebody's not happy, you know, they put off an energy. I remember thinking at the very beginning, like, man, you know, maybe I should cut bait. Cut bait's like when you have a fish and you can't get it in the boat, you cut it, let it go. Maybe I should, you know, just be real short and sweet with this one. And as the lady shared with me, she said, I'm a single mom. I have 3 kids, and because I asked her the question, I said, tell me a little bit about your business. And she went in, she said, hey, I was with this brokerage, which was a major franchise. The team split up. One went this way, another one went that way. She went with the other team. They then left that brokerage, went to a boutique brokerage, and then since then she's left there and went to where she's at. And one thing that I learned a long time ago was that, you know, words matter.
How dare you say that to me?
What did I say?
I don't know, but how dare
you? know, narratives matter. And I was looking at her when I talk to people, sometimes, you know, one of the things that I believe for me personally is it's not really fulfilling to like try to make somebody believe in themselves. It's, if you can imagine like a battery being drained. You want pancakes? You know, I have so much energy through the day, and I got to transfer that energy to somebody long enough for them to make a better effort. And a lot of the times they're draining their battery. It's almost like, if you can imagine like leaving your car on with the lights on, their battery's getting drained because their mind's only thinking all the time about the negative. Like all day long, all they're thinking about is all the things happening to them, blah, blah, blah. So they're not allocating the energy to the right thing. So I have to re-energize them, refocus them, and get them just long enough, not to change their belief, to suspend their belief long enough to take an action, to get an experience, to start believing different so that they can have hope. But this lady tricked me. She pivoted on me when she said, and I love for sale by owners. And we all know that, you know, most agents don't like for sale by owners. And that wasn't congruent with the conversation. She's saying like one thing, but then she likes for sale by owners. I looked at her and I could tell that I had created my own narrative. So I repositioned the story and I said, Mike, this is 1953 or 54. And this is my father's mother, what I called my granny. And I said, because she kind of reminded me of my granny if she was young. And my granny, you know, she was a single mom with my dad, ended up getting married to my papa. But I reframed it and I was like, if you could go back in time and have a conversation with your grandma when she was on hard times, and it tapped empathy, it tapped compassion. I was like, well, if I only had a small window of opportunity, I'd be pretty direct and pretty honest with her.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
And so as she starts talking through, she's saying different things. And what I wanted to say is I wanted to interrupt her and say, there's other reasons why they're not successful. You're not successful. You're having a hard time. Things aren't working out because of you. That's the good news, because now you can change it. You have to be in control of your agency. You have to be an agent that can act upon the world, not being acted upon. You have to believe that there's something that you can do about your situation. You can't believe that everything is happening to you. Oh, poor, pitiful me. I'm not saying that she was doing that, but you have to be very careful in the language, the identity, the things that you're telling yourself, because that impacts the effort that you're going to put to go forward. And I've been there personally. I said, listen, I told her a story because I told her a story about when I couldn't order a pizza and I sat in a Taco Bell parking lot considering getting out of real estate. I sat in a Taco Bell parking lot, looked across the parking lot at a Toyota Plano where my uncle worked, and I was gonna go sell cars. Now, obviously, the concept is I gave it one more day. One more day. I said, you know what? I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna give it one more day. And that's a good mental model to have because, you know, a lot of the times when you're having your hard days, if you just say, you know what, I'm gonna give it one more day. I'm gonna win today. Warren Buffett says that you can always tell someone to F off tomorrow. And what he's saying is that time will let the emotions reset and let your consciousness reevaluate the situation and reorganize the story, maybe for you to make the right decision, because most likely you're not going to make the right decision when you're upset, when you're demotivated, where maybe you have a different perspective. You know, I shared this with her and mainly because I wanted to let her know that I was like her, because I am like her. I'm no different than her. I've had hard days. I've wanted to quit. I've had nothing in the pipeline, not knowing where my next deal was going to come from. What I learned was that I had to be honest with myself. I only had two things, time or money. Those are only two things. I'm either going to get a return on my time or a return on my money. With money, it's real simple. I put a nickel, a dollar, quarter, whatever in, and then you calculate what it costs and what you got back. But time is different. And people don't look at it like that. You got to manage your time like an accountant manages money. Again, if you manage your time, you can then invest money in the future. Only if you invest your time right will you have money to invest. So for her, you know, one of the comments that she made that I didn't like was she said I was on a team and all they wanted to know was my numbers, blah, 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 and there was no one ever to help me. You know, it takes 50 phone calls just try to get a question answered. And full disclosure, she was interested in partnering with us and knowing how we could help her, but we hadn't even broached that subject. Call it negative reverse selling. At this point, I don't even know if I want to partner with her, but she's kind of selling me that she might be a good partner, and maybe she's just been in a situation where she hasn't had the right leadership, the right coaching, the right training, the right mindset, all things that are possible. But I wanted her to know the difference between agreements and expectations. I wanted to reframe that she was in control of her own success. I wanted to make sure that I was dealing with somebody where we were working on agreement. I'm not responsible for your success. You're responsible for your success. Now let's define it. Your success is dependent upon you having conversations. You have to have conversations with people in order to have success. I don't care whether it's your neighbor, your best friend, your cousin. If you're trying to get customers, you have to have conversations. Now, you can put money into Facebook, YouTube, Google, whatever. You can do whatever. You can go sit on an open house. If you go sit on an open house and have no conversations, then did you have 3 sign writers? Was it a bad house? Should you have 50? Did you market the home? The thing that I learned when I was at my very beginning stage of getting in sales was I knew that I had to get the marbles out of my mouth. I had to learn how to be more articulate. I had to be able to articulate my value. And that came with repetition, time on task, learning. Right? What to say, learning new objections, overcoming them, losing a listing, failing on a presentation to only learn how to do it better. It was repetition with massive action. You know, I told her, I said, listen, you know, right now there's a book out there. It changed my life. It's called, and I believe that it's the #1 books read or sold next to the Bible. If it's not, it's top 3, but there is one, and I believe this is it. It's How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's either the first or the second book that I read cover to cover. Could be the first. For the point of the video, we'll say the first. It sounds better. But I might switch it on another video, and it's not intentionally. It was either Think or Grow Rich or that one. But the book's concept basically came down to one thing, is that you have to win friends. You will sell something to a friend cheaper than you will a stranger. You know, in friendship, you know, there's trust. There's a lot of different things. And so when I was in sales, I used to try to make a sale, and I changed my mindset to I'm not trying to make sales. I'm just trying to make friends. This person's coming in the gym, worked in the gym business. I'm going to make a friend, find out what's going on with their life, do a needs analysis, not skip the steps, show them the ways that I can help them, demonstrate that I can help them, offer to help them, tell them what the process looks, just things, sales. I told her a story about Cedric Mills, a guy that I sold a house to. I said, I was at an open house one time and I actually prayed. I needed a deal. I actually remember saying a prayer, and it was raining and this minivan pulled up, and Cedric Mills ended up selling a house with me, buying a house. The house paid a big bonus. It was a new construction home. I went on to make more money in literally 30 days than I did the previous 6 months. But I was at the brink, you know what I mean, where I would have wanted to give up. I was at the brink of where things were their hardest. But what I did was I kept pushing forward, doing the high leverage, high revenue generating activities because I had professional sales as a background, as training. I knew I needed to have conversations. And so if you tell me, hey, Mike, I'm doing open houses, they're not working. I don't care if you're doing open houses. I don't care whether you're circle prospecting, calling expireds, calling for sale by owners, calling probates, whether you're doing handwritten letters to your past client, calling your sphere of influence, doing a client appreciation party. At the end of the day, if you're not having enough conversations, you won't be successful. If you are, then you don't have compelling offers in order to convert people to want to do business with you. You have to have meaningful conversations with people. You have to actually care about people. You have to be growing your database, not of leads, of homeowners, of people that need help, need advice. And so that's what I told her. I said, listen, being successful for you where you are right now is understanding your conversation to transaction rate. Once you know that, then you can look through the arsenal of all the things that you can do on a daily basis to have a conversation, and you can decide which ones you like, which ones you don't like. Maybe right now you do have a problem. Maybe there's things you need to be doing that you don't like. You need to change the story, because if you don't, you're gonna go back to the job you didn't like, right? Because that's the alternative. The alternative is you don't become successful, you go back into real estate, or you go do something else and you don't have the freedom that real estate could provide. My suggestion to you, and I've said it and I'll say it forever, if you're not at your full potential, right? Let's say you want to make 6 figures, multiple 6 figures in real estate, which you should be able to do on your own personal production, stage 1, stage 2. If you don't know what that means, there's a link here in the top of the video where I walk you through the different stages of business. It's an amazing video. If you're at stage 1, stage 2, you need to have conversations, and you can either do that by investing your time or money. And I can guarantee you this, if you're investing your time and you're not having the conversations, you're either investing it wrong, your plan is wrong. When before you start, right? Get a good plan, get a mentor, find somebody who's already accomplished what it is that you're trying to do, and ask questions, right? Because the quality of your life is in direct correlation to the quality of your questions. And we all know that the best life to live is a life by strategy.